Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Marshall here, and I've got a 1 versus 1 for you today. Another one, as I always seem to do. Never surprises anybody by saying I've got 1 versus 1, but there we go. This time, though, it's on a map that I don't believe I've ever actually watched a game on before. It's Ashworth's Garden. Smallish planet, only 500 radius. 61 metal, though. Polar spawns either side of a ravine which separates an enclosed central area with an expansion on either side of this sort of mountainous ridge. Provides a strategic opportunity if you want to try and scrap for it to take ownership of those expansions. Around the outside, you've got a little pond around the back to worry about. On the far side around here, you've got some nice localized expansions that you can try and lock down for you, and a platform around the back. So it's going to be quite a scrap, this game. And our combatants, Bilal and Ptasior, both very good players, have been playing the game for a while, but here we go. Down we come, Bilal in gunmetal grey, going for bots first into air. 3 P-gens into vehicles, another 3 power. And then something will happen. Meanwhile, on the south side, we've got Ptasior in, what should we call that? Mint blue? I don't know, ice blue, maybe? Going bots into air, into vehicles as well. Factory mechs, factory 3 P-gens. Third factory. Seems to be the way to go. Both will be getting out of fab to begin, maybe a second one, but looks like Bilal... Oh. Right, someone pinged something somewhere. Bilal, rather than a second fab, goes straight away with 2 boom bots. Certainly unorthodox. Quite a violent early strategy. Is he going to try and snipe any expanding fabricators? Must be what he's attempting to do. We've got a boombot from Ptasior going the other way, and a Firefly to boot. Oh, they're both going around the other side of each other. This is... Oh. Ptasior might get a win here. 2 booms from Bilal. Have to separate. 1. Doesn't quite get the second one. That being said, though, Ptasior does manage to pick off the fabricator on the north as well. So both sides already taking potshots at one another. Both sides already taking losses. A violent start to this game. Air coming out from both sides. 4 hummingbirds apiece, more or less. Firefly keeping the scout up. Let's have a look at what Ptasior's seen. Hasn't seen the factory orders. Just a few P-gens over there. Bilal, on the other hand, not keeping up too much with the scouting. I do see a pelican, though. What is he going to do? Inferno drop? No. What is this? So you got Ptasior on the south, playing rather conventionally, bots into strikers on a small map like this, and then in vehicles, and probably ants coming out of this one because of the short distance. Meanwhile, Bilal is just up here with Pelican Inferno drops. 'Cause why not? And who's this that's queued stuff up in the middle? Staging post, perhaps? Sending the air ahead of things. Oh, it's just been seen! It's been seen! That's unfortunate. Bilal doesn't know that it's been seen. It will get picked off their beautiful Firefly. That is most unfortunate for Bilal. He will not be happy with that. And having lost an additional fabricator, Ptasior seemingly coming out on top so far. Bilal wants to get that fab. I was going to say in the opposite direction. But, you know, there we go. Ptasior definitely seeming to be on top so far. The army count is there. Fabric counts are more or less equal. The factory counts, though, Ptasior does have the upper hand. That being said, Bilal with the economic lead, having gone for the triple mechs expansion first rather than the double. So Ptasior only one mechs behind, or two, give or take. Not too much. We've got a vehicle fab coming out the back, though. Maybe a naval factory? I mean, there's not too much in the way of water around, mechs in the water. Not super rewarding to go into it, certainly given the amount of time you have to spend walking and building and things. The early game is definitely about getting those expansions that are in the direction of your opponent. I'm told the map is very scrappy and aggressive. Just like this Icarus on a couple of those fabs. Not nice. Just one Icarus takes off a couple of fabs that were not supported. The problem for Bilal, though, is this stream of units coming out here. Ants and Infernos, combined with a steady stream of strikers, boombots to deal with the odd thing here and there, and docks just to flesh it out. That's not friendly. If you can keep some fabbers alive, pop up a radar or two, that would be quite a push he's got. But he doesn't need to go all the way into the base. He just needs to go around the outsides. Take out a few of the outlying resources rather than sending everything into the same spot, only to die. Here we go, look at this. Fabricator coming up with an army to support the middle here to hold. Potentially build a few, I was going to say factories up here, but maybe it's this one over here. Now this is a good move here from Bilal. These piranhas are hover, which means they can go right up onto the shoreline right about here, which puts them in range of these mechs. Very cheap and cheerful, but they do one hell of a job harassing. Oh, that's a push. That's a rush and a half. But here we go, look at this. They don't even need to bring themselves in range of the ants. Although they do need to bring themselves just a smidgen closer to keep hitting them. There we go. I do want to watch out for this stuff, though. Right, what have we got on the front sides now? We've got a minefield coming up. Have we got any T2 from Ptasior? T2 bots is getting there, reclaiming some trees as well, just for an extra little bit of economy there. Still both of them kind of struggling-ish for extra economy. Bilal definitely needs the metal, but that's because he's gone for lobs. My word. That's where he got all of his docks from that just swarmed down the western lane. Disgusting stuff. That being said, he really needs them at home because there's a big army of tanks on his doorstep. He doesn't have any bombers to deal with it. He doesn't have air superiority. Trying to get T2 up. His commander's on the other side, so he can't come over an uber cannon. And bots are not good in forests because all of their shots hit trees. But that combat fab is keeping those tanks alive. That was brutal. We've got a few ants to support now. That's better than nothing. I tell you what, though. With these lobs and docks, you could send them around and just swarm all of these expansions round the back. Just run in, why not? Nothing stopping you. T2 is up now, though, and slammers will tend to make it a little bit harder to swarm docks like this. If you watched the last game that I casted, you'll know the power dynamic between those two. I do suggest you go and watch it. The crazy 1v1. Quite a game. just had a message from Broom on Discord talking to me about watermelons. If anyone knows this man, I have nothing else to say. I mean, anyway. Right. Apparently, watermelons are important. Meanwhile, in this game, we've got some orcas coming out. Should be able to hold off the 4 mechs on the side. Do have to be a little bit careful of the torpedo launchers here. We have some stuff coming around in the way of T2, pushing a little bit. More bumblebees coming into Ptasior's army now, which is going to help him against the docks, which is going to mean Bilal has to start putting some anti-air into his force, but I don't think he can really afford to do that. He's very far behind on army count, and most of his army is dock swarm. And against combat fabs and infernos, that doesn't help a lot, honestly. Really need more tanks there, and the commander is, well, over on the other side somewhere. So he's not available to defend the base. He has taken a little bit of the center ground, but Bilal falling behind on the economy here, and increasingly precarious position back in his base. Not looking great. Can't get up to T2 in the naval. Already invested in T2 bots, but Locusts! Could they turn the tide? We'll have a look. It's possible. It's possible. If Bilal can hold off and actually use intelligence for his Locusts, a lot of pro players just tend to send Locusts and hope that they can micromanage them and find something useful to kill. You've really got to scout ahead and plan your approach. Otherwise, your initial surprise of Locusts will be gonzo. Here, for example, Hit and Hope could get seen by this army. He doesn't know that the army's there, so he doesn't know what he just narrowly missed. He doesn't know that this army's here. He's just hoping to find some metal. He finds no metal. Oh dear. Element of surprise gone. 2 Locusts down. And he doesn't know this army's here either. This is exactly how not to control Locusts, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly how to lose a base. Let's take a closer look. There you go, the ants. The slammers. Wandering in, uncontested. All the eggs in one basket of a lob. And no, there was no scouting of the T2. There was no scouting of the attack vectors. And I hear a commander exploding in the distance over here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Let's have a gander at what that commander did over there. Walked up a little bit to try and cheese a push out of things. And back home, the base was dying while he's over here, sipping a cocktail in the Bahamas. Oh well. Have you learned something within this game, folks? Well, that was an interesting one. That was yet another 1v1. And I've been Marshall. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.